All
right, cool. Okay, we're on. So yeah, I'm just excited to learn more about how you came up with the torpedo pot. Like, let me into your space. How did that happen?
Well, we're a culmination of all of our experiences.
Right.
It's like a little monkey when he's sitting in a tree and he's trying to get ants out. What you do is you stick a stick in the tree and pull it out. And so from that one experience, he's able to eat. And so from my experiences, my background, I have 5 degrees. I own 3 corporations. I've written 10 books, published 3. The 7 I haven't published, they're private. Have master's in theology, master's in regulatory affairs, quality control, graduate from the School of Pharmacy, undergrad in chemistry. And I have 2 other smaller degrees also. Wow. I build corporations internationally. I build corporations, not just dealing with the infrastructure, but also not just the hardware, dealing with the brick and the mortar and the regulations governing that. But I also build them from the internal infrastructure, from the processes and procedures in order to make them and have them function properly. So that, so I have a pretty broad perspective on a lot of different science backgrounds and fields, things like that. But so all of those come to bear in the torpedo pot, because whether you're looking at it from a physical perspective or looking at it from a chemistry or looking at it from an engineering perspective, all of those have to go into bear to pull a product out that is so simple. It looks so simple, but yet it is so ingenious.
Right, right. The thought of me not having, first and foremost, the thought of me being able to grow as much produce as the torpedo pot would allow for me to grow and not have to be responsible for the watering, that is humongous. I spent hours holding my hose like in my side yard from dawn to dusk, okay? I had 8, 9, 10 rows of hay bales, 10 bales in each row. So I spent a significant amount of time, and they soak up water. So I spent a significant amount of time watering. And so this is, to me, possibly everything,
So just imagine, I mean, you hit on it from a watering perspective, and it's self-growing, so you don't have to water anything. It takes care of itself. My plants that were once outside are now inside. And while we're talking, they're growing by themselves. They don't have to do anything. But just imagine, not only does it save you in water, but you use the soil indefinitely.
Yes, okay. The microbial situation you've got going on, how is, because I got rabbit fertilizer, so I believe in fertilizing. And when you said you don't need any fertilizer, I got in my feelings a little bit. I was like, okay, but wait a minute now. Talk to me about that. What is that all about?
Well, as we look at plants, there's certain things we share with people about plants, and I don't go into that. I'll just focus on answering your question. And that is, plants have been around longer than us.
Right.
And even if you take the biblical account, man came sometime afterwards. So which means that there always have been an ecological solution to the problems in the world.
Come on, Professor.
So the world is already in motion. It knows what it has to do. It's been doing it for thousands of years. And all of a sudden we came up, and I think during the 1960s, somebody said, hey, listen, I can do better than nature. Let me create fertilizers in 30s and 40s. And they mass produced it. And what they realized is that for every tomato we're getting, we're destroying, for every plantation you're developing, you're destroying thousands of acres of land. You're polluting thousands of metric units of air. You're destroying the water from this one fertilization thing we call fertilizers. So we're eating food that causes obesity. And we have yet to understand the medical problems that people are having as a result of their food.
Right.
And so the problems are enormous. With that being said, what we figured out was that, everything comes from the soil.
Everything, out the mud.
Every building, every pen that we have, every piece of paper that we write on, it all comes from the soil. But you know what's so interesting about it? It has the ability to return back to the soil. But the thing that we want to take a look at is how does it return back? Because remember now, fission, fusion, all these things come from elements associated with the soil.
Right.
So the soil is one of the most powerful tools that we've ever seen before in our life.
Mm.
So instead of fighting the earth, we have to learn to harness the earth.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what I mean by that, let's put a little accent on that, is that when you were 13 years old and the age you are now, could anybody put their hands on you to stop you from growing?
Oh, no.
Because somebody somehow put their hands on your head and said, child, stop growing, or else just stop growing. Could somebody do that?
No.
So my question to your audience and myself, I have to remind myself constantly, why are we trying to grow plants?
Let them do what they do.
They grow naturally.
Imagine that. Okay, let them do what they do. Okay.
That's what they do.
Right.
So why am I throwing fertilizers and chemicals at this thing to try to get it to grow? It already grows. That's not the problem.
Right.
The problem is, how do we now harness that growth? How do we build the harvest and get something back out of that growth?
Right.
So what Torpedopot does is that we realize that the soil is the base. So we don't feed the plants. We don't really care about the plants. What we care about is the soil.
Mm.
If you have a plant that's sitting on the side of the road and it grows by itself, eventually that plant is going to die. Something kicked it off, seeds all over the place. The conditions are right. It started to grow. It got water from the rain. It's rolling on the tar. And it found a little bit of soil, or it might have found nutrition in the tar itself.
Mm.
The problem is, the reason why that plant grows and the reason why that tree grows and dies immediately in the back of the house is because that environment is not sustainable.
Mm-hmm. Right.
For that one period of time, that moment in time, that thing was now able to grow and find out its high life in life. It's been able to mature and it looks so beautiful. But at some point, something happened. And when that happens, the first thing we do as human beings, we look at the plant and say, it's your fault. Right?
Right. What did you do to cause this?
What did you do? I mean, you're yellow.
Right.
You're brown. What's going on with you? You're sick. But we don't understand that you don't need to look at the plant. The plant's not the issue, it's the soil.
Right.
So what we do is that we develop the soil and allow the soil to grow your plants.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay, so that brings me to a good question. So we can't just use anything in the torpedo pot when it comes to soil. Then we need to be using some specific soil mixture already, or you teach us how to create the ideal soil for the torpedo pot. Is that what I'm hearing?
Forgive me, when I speak, sometimes I speak in parables because I want to use illustrations.
Okay, that's that theology. That's that theology. Well, come on with it.
You know what? You're so direct. I was gonna make a joke, but I can't win. I'm not letting you be you. I'm not. Yes, it's the theology. Whatever. I don't. You know, it takes a village to raise a child, right?
Right. That part. We
all bring something to the table. So the problem is and say your question one more time so I can get a complete answer.
So will you teach us, so when you order the torpedo pot, do you get soil that comes with it? Or do you teach us how to create that ideal soil for use in the pot?
You know, it's amazing because life grows all around the planet. It grows underneath the sea. It grows in caves. You know, you can have life that grows and exists in the air itself, and it's transferred. But so the torpedo pot doesn't care what type of soil you have. The torpedo pot will use whatever you have to do the job that it needs to do. Now, listen very carefully. So remember, when you have plants, look at this. Look in your backyard. There's not one type of plant growing out there. There are probably thousands of different types of plants growing out there. And each plant wants its own environment. Mm. So there is no thing as perfect soil.
Right, true.
Now, listen very carefully now, because you're going to love this, sis. The soil is only one part. In short, the soil is not the environment for the plant. When you're sitting in that lovely chair you're in right now, you've decorated that room for a purpose. It may be for business, it may be for pleasure, to enjoy the reclining part of the chair. Well, we fail to realize that plants are trying to do the same thing. If you're given a house, you're going to turn it into a home, right?
Right.
And so is the plant. It's going to build a relationship with the soil and the components of the soil and the microorganisms and the bacteria and the fungus, and it creates an environment so that it can sustain itself. The torpedo pot allows the plant to create an environment so they can do things that we can't imagine. Let me tell you how powerful that environment is. And one of our planters, which is the 20-inch planter, we put over 70 or 50 to 70 Hungarian pepper seeds. And they grew automatically with no human intervention from 100 to 500 green peppers.
What? From 120? Okay, wait.
20-inch planter. You go to the website, you'll see it all there.
Wow.
Like on my refrigerator, my freezer, just pull out a bag of peppers. I got Hungarian peppers, jalapeno peppers, California green wonder peppers. All of them can grow. And not just that, the things that this pot can do are unimaginable. We're just scratching the surface now. We haven't even delved down into the technology of the pot itself. But it's designed to grow your food. And it's designed to grow faster, better, fuller, and pure. It's the purest food on earth is in a torpedo pot.
Wow. I am so excited about this pot. I cannot wait. I hit up everybody we're starting the Black Farmer Cooperative that I told you about. And I sent an email out to everybody, to all the founding members, and asked what questions did they have. And one question that came back was, how can we become distributors? What can we do to plug in to be able to help distribute this product, as well as, because I'm developing a small farming grid all around the Torpedo Pot Spring 2021, just FYI, because I don't want to have to do the watering. And volume that I want to be able to produce, not only because I have a pick your own operation I'm trying to get off the ground here, but also to be able to do some extra stuff at the farmer's market and in some of the local food deserts. I need volume. And hay bales aren't going to give me that. So when you tell me you can put that many plants and they're fruiting in a 20-inch pot, do you know how many sets of 20 inches I got around these here streets?
Oh, no doubt about it. No doubt about it. I mean, our one torpedo pot that goes up 7 feet, and I'm in the Pennsylvania area. So the zone I'm in, I mean, the frost came and just ruined everything for everybody.
Right.
Yeah. And it certainly took my plants out too. But my harvest is great. And my plants that are used to growing in the wintertime, my lettuce is still growing, my beets are still growing, my chard is still growing. Yeah, they've been buried underneath snow. They've been frozen, but they pop back up and they grow again. So next year, I'm going to get pots and nothing but Swiss chard. I love Swiss chard. It is so delicious. Peppers, Swiss chard, my collard greens, they're growing. My cabbage is growing. I put them into the seedlings. I moved them inside. My garlic chives are about, I would say maybe about 2 feet high. And I'm growing it down in the basement. So with torpedo pot, now, when I do excessive growing, there are different types of plants that require different growths. So when I'm doing collard greens and cabbage, those are standard. Throw them in a torpedo pot, they'll grow for you. That's not a problem. When you go into heavy fruiting like the peppers and things like that, we do use supplements, organic, natural supplements from grinded plants down. Because one thing we realize is that when you have a plant, you've already got your nitrogen right here.
Right.
Why do I need to add more nitrogen? A one-to-one growing solution, your nitrogen is already there. The only thing is when I throw hundreds of plants together, I want to add a little bit of potassium, and that's our supplements will help you do that. But we don't have 95 to 99% of all our fruit have no blemishes on it. They're perfect fruit.
Wow.
So we don't have. Yeah.
This here is, I see almost like I'm going to use the word loosely just because it gives me the best description of what I'm trying to say. And this is not what I mean, but I see farmers in our co-op being almost able to set up little miniature franchise looking type systems. everybody's able to grow as much of whatever their zone would allow for them to grow, their highest and best cultivars, let's say, and to a volume that they can reliably supply those mothers and fathers in that community who always want lettuce, who always want this, and are able to come. I see this being able to provide that infrastructure for that. Now, I don't know about your potatoes and the things that grow under the ground. I don't know how Torpedopot works with that. So,
and one Torpedopot, we put some baby carrots in there. We were able to grow 40 baby carrots in one Torpedopot. Okay. But remember, the whole concept of food is changing.
Right.
Because look at carrot plants. The first time we eat, oh, it's a carrot. But when we throw 100 carrot seeds in one planter, I'm harvesting the carrot tops too.
True. Yes. Yeah, that's true.
What we've been taught to eat has been given to us out of convenience for the agricultural cycle that's out there. Right. Do you realize the peppers, you can eat the leaves of the pepper plants? Not only just eat the peppers themselves. Same thing with tomatoes. Okay. There's so much that is food that's out there because we're not taught. We've been taught on our, which has been very helpful, but we've been taught on a supermarket, just go, but these fruits and vegetables are things that are available in abundance that they can harvest for millions of pounds and use fertilizers to produce very quickly.
Right.
And adding yourself after them. That's a whole new different ballgame. Wow.
I'm just so excited. You know, what is that saying? When the student is ready, the master will, how does that teacher when the...
Yeah, you're right. When the student is ready, the master appears or something like that.
That part.
Yeah.
We're in a very unique time, and I'm telling you, I met with a bunch of very intelligent, very career-proven people on this farmer co-op call we had the other day. There was no ego in the room. Everybody wants the same thing. This is not an accident, me finding your article. Shout out to Shoppe Black. Shout out to Shoppe Black. Shout out to Shoppe Black. Keep doing what you guys are doing. And bringing and delivering that content about, you know, all things Black entrepreneurial. I love it. If you didn't do what you did, I wouldn't be sitting here talking to Darral right now and connecting the dots with the other. It's just about to be amazing. So
yeah, Tony with Shoppe Black, we have a lifelong commitment with him, and this is what this is about. Even with your clients, the existing agricultural atmosphere. These farmers, they didn't go to school to be agronomists.
Right.
They didn't go to school to be biologists. Most of them have inherited land from their father's father's father, and they've been growing it. And so when agriculture company comes, they give them fertilizers and they produce food. They have no clue how the impact of what they're doing to the environment. Right. They really don't know. They just want to make a profit. And that's what we're doing to Torpedopot, to answer the question that you brought up, and that is we're creating a solution that all we do is drop tanks, lines, growing supplements, seeds, and everything else to ensure you have precise growing year after year after year. With 1,000 Torpedopots, you can actually harvest over 2 million pepper seeds and start your own pepper, and start your own seed manufacturing facility.
Wow. Now see this, okay, so let's talk about those tanks. Is this a water catchment type system where you're collecting rainwater, or is this tank, you know, being, you know, filled with a spigot to a hose and all that good stuff?
When you're growing that many fruit in a small area, there are certain things that we want to have, and that is, we want to be able to, like for instance, if from one spigot in your house, you can grow over 100 planters.
Oh, okay.
So let's not, I don't want to mistake that you have to go to our taller torpedoes to do high volume. Remember now, if I'm growing, let's say for an average of 200 peppers from one planter, a small planter, 20-inch planter, and you got 100 of those, I think you got a pretty much good to go to the marketplace. You do whatever you want.
Right.
But with the, I don't want to get off topic with the focus on, but with the small planter, you can hook us from the spigot. So once you hook it up for a spigot, you can have, and this is very interesting, man, I think you'll like this, 20 planters that get watered for 1 minute every hour. Another gets water for another 1 minute an hour. Well, geez, you got 60 minutes in an hour there.
Right.
And you're using one spigot.
Wow.
all of these plants. So now let's take a step back now. So we have 20 plants times 60 minutes. 20 times 60 is how much? Was it
1,200.
Yeah, 1,200, right?
Yeah.
Now let's say in that planter, that one planter, you're growing. Now listen very carefully, since I need you to math, okay?
Okay.
That's why village there is.
Look, I'm a real estate broker. I got you. What you got? I'm good with numbers.
So let's say you put cherry tomatoes and just say you put 12 cherry tomatoes in a 20-inch planter. 12 tomato.
Right.
Those tomato plants, let's say they grow about 26 tomatoes a plant. So 26 times 12 is how much, Monica?
Oh gosh, I'm gonna do that one on here. That's 312. That's 300.
See, that's why I need to come to you for all my real estate needs.
You got that right.
So 312, based upon how many replanters we're talking about? How many planters did we calculate? 1,200, right?
1,200, yeah.
And so multiply that. What's the total amount of crop that you could expect?
374,400.
Now cut it in half for all errors and mistakes. So this is high growth now, okay? High growth. So,
187.2, right.
So this is home high growth, all right? So you don't have enough space. Our tomato plants grow out. We've had tomato plants grow out 17 feet because they can reach their full life expectancy, because you don't have to worry about fertilizers compromise the life and the health of the plant itself. So this is the homeowner now. This is just the homeowner. Now we take our tall torpedo pots and bring them in. What we do with the tall torpedo pots, because they go up very high, we have the tanks. And our water tanks is simply a storage area.
Okay.
Your household water goes into the tank. The water tank will filtrate it and all those other things are taking place. But it goes into the tank. And from the tank, you have zones. You can have 20 different zones and you have one pump running at maybe 70 PSI, handling close to 20 to 30 planters.
Got you. Okay.
And now that's when you start growing millions of pounds. Does that make sense?
That makes perfect sense. Okay, so talk to me about this. Okay, so you notice I got a lot of trees. And so the sun and I have this situation where if I plant everything over there, the sun is not going to get to the plants and they're not going to do what they really could do.
Right.
I was hopeful that the torpedo pots would be fairly movable, but it sounds like once I set them, I really do need to forget them because they're going to be connected to some type of a piping or tubing or something.
You know, sis, there's a little small black tubing that we use to attach the torpedo pots here. It's a 1/4-inch tubing.
Okay.
When you want to remove a plant, you simply disconnect it and move it. You know, you're not locked in it. My plants that were once outside, I brought inside now. My mandevellas were completely dead from the frost. I brought them inside, and those mandevellas are about 1.5 feet now.
Nice. Okay. Because sun happens in different places at different times, and to be able to catch it when I needed to, this just offers that. Oh, and then I can plug it back up for the water. I'm just.
As a matter of fact, let's go one step further.
Okay.
Once self-situated. Did I send you the brochure we had on what we were doing for that church?
You did. Yes.
Once you get it set up, when your clients come to purchase trees, bushes, plants, you sell the whole pot and you give it to them.
What? Oh, I love it.
That's not it. For you and your clients, where we making our money from is this. We sell the planters. Our goal is to feed people, okay?
Right.
So we want to be your main source for growing solutions, all right? We want to be your technology experts when it comes to growing plants, food, whatever you want to do. And we've established ourselves as that. There's no place else in the world can do it.
Right.
But imagine in your neighborhood where people want these planters set up. When we go to people's houses and set these planters up, we can make from $700 to $6,000.
Oh, because once they get one, they're going to want more.
Not only more, but your planter is now part of your infrastructure.
Exactly.
Where else are you going to go for food?
Right.
So this is when they move, they're going to carry their planters with them because this is a source of food.
You just said something else that I really am happy to hear. You will help in the setup of this. You guys can come out and physically help with the setup of your system if you're doing this.
It depends what area you're in. We're not that. What we're doing is that we're building relationships with businesses like yours.
Got you. Okay.
Our goal is, now listen very carefully, sis, because I'm going to make sure I get this out. We're not trying to build a business where I'm sitting in some pyramid structure going out this way.
Okay.
I don't want anything to do with that.
Okay.
I want to share the wealth, and I want everybody to participate. You can be one of our distributors. So what I'm doing, I'm pushing it so other Black businesses can do the same thing too. That is the goal of this company. I don't want your money. I want you to expand, because we need to expand horizontally.
Correct.
Lowe's have reached out to us and said, Mr. Addison, we love you to be on our shelves. Could you do it? You know, I'm really not interested right now in being on top of Lowe's. I'm interested in creating millionaires for people who want to start their own businesses, because guess what? When you become a distributor with us, eventually we're growing, we're going to turn you into a miniature Home Depot.
Yes.
Absolutely. So we grow together. That's how we do. We grow together.
Exactly. I love it. I am here for it. I love everything about it. There's nothing wrong with it. Okay. I don't know. I'm just so full of excitement right now. I want to go rake more leaves. You know, I want to go rake more leaves and get ready. I can't wait to share this with everyone in the co-op. From the moment that I called you, you answered your telephone on the first ring almost. And from the moment you opened your mouth and I heard your voice, I knew you were from a place of abundance. I knew you had time to answer your phone. I knew you were concerned that I knew what it was that you were doing, and just your whole sense of urgency. Let's get this done. Make sure you send me that email. I said, this is wonderful. I'm so excited, thankful for you, thankful for all the knowledge that you bring, and can't wait for everyone else in the co-op to meet you. And I don't know. I'm getting emotional, but no.
I want to say two last things. Is that we're trying to build, you're on the first fruit right now. We just got finished talking to one of our Black brothers who's establishing Bitcoin. What our goal is to do is to take this company and break it up and to monetize it for every family out there. Most families don't, you hear things like, invest in the stock market. And some of that is way beyond us.
Right.
We want everyone in the community to have a future for their children. We're monetizing this company so that everyone can put a part in it. But we're about to grow one of the largest Black corporations in the history of the world, because we have a product that the world needs. From Saudi Arabia, we're just opening up offices in Jordan. We're opening up Brazil. We're working with the churches in Brazil to feed everyone in the favelas. And we need people like yourself. Now, why is this so important? Because as we start to grow and take off, our distributors start to grow and take off.
Right.
So get your distributorship, be a part of what's going on, because we're not just talking about food, we're talking about wealth. You need to be in the middle of this wealth generation.
That's right.
Does that make
sense? Absolutely. And a lot of people are, they don't associate agricultural and wealth in the same category. They are absolutely okay being in the same category. So we just need to have a mindset shift, and then that's okay. It's okay to be a good steward of the land and to monetize the things around it. And it's okay. All of that is okay. So don't let that be something that if you feel like somebody's about the money and they can't be about the land, that's not true. And we need to get out of that thinking. But at the end of the day, this is not happening by accident. And so from that point of view, I'm going to go ahead and get off of this call, be respectful of your time, and get to work, because I need to read the brochures. I received them, but I need to print them off. I need to go through them and really understand what being a distributor is like, because I know there's probably more to it than you can go over here. But thank you. Thank you.
Well, what I want to do is that you're such a divine person to me. I want to see if I can bottle your energy.
You're going to need a bigger glass than that. You're going to need a bigger bottle for that, okay?
Let me tell you something. Whatever you're doing, I want you to keep doing what you're doing.
Thank you.
It's not falling on deaf ears. This is not a vacuum here.
Nice.
You know, when God placed seeds, he placed them all over the place.
Right.
And when the timing is right, those things will blossom together and they'll create a field of energy and beauty.
Oh, yeah.
Please continue what you're doing. It is so essential, not just to you and your children's children. Godspeed. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Darral. Talk to
Okay,
you.
bye-bye.
Bye-bye.